When your spokesperson is pissing off Maria Bartiromo, a Fox News host with a high tolerance for snake oil, who you will usually find going to bat for the Trump administration.
They say the average vehicle will go up by about $3,000. Does it sound right to you?
All right, great. Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff, thank you. Thank you so much. Jeff Flock at the Dodge Ram plant there. Not plant. It's not a plant, Chris. They're selling cars. Thank you, dealership. But you know what? Let me ask you this, okay?
Yes.
How many Dodge Rams do you see driving around Europe? Okay. How many Dodge Rams do you see driving around India? Not many, I bet. Why? Because they don't buy our cars. And that's what President Trump is trying to change. Maybe Dodge should start building them here and selling them here.
Things aren't going too well.
And they have substantial tariffs. And as important as the tariff are some of these non-tariff barriers where they have domestic content production, where they do testing on whether it's our food, our products.
See, these are the things that people are really worried about, because they first thought it was just about trade. Then they thought it was just about fentanyl. Then after that, we talked about, well, maybe it's currency manipulation, and maybe it's now you're talking about food testing. And when I bring up the issue of clarity, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm hearing from corporate America, that we're not sure where this is going.
The Fox News host, who was recently appointed to the Kennedy board alongside Laura Ingraham. But let's not talk about DEI, shall we?
When most people think of the Kennedy Center, they think of the Kennedy Center Honors. It takes place in December every year. Is that something that you anticipate hosting at the White House? And what do you think that happens?
We're going to have honors. We're going to have, I think it's going to be a much bigger show than it has been in the past. It got tired, very boring, very radical left. Unless you were a radical left, it just seemed that nobody was chosen. There are a lot of people out there that can get the honors, and we're going to do it. I think we'll have a very big show. It's going to be a very big show. We have some surprises on that show, some big surprises, but I think it has a chance to be a very big show. That's a big part of the Kennedy Center, the honors that evening. And so I think you're going to be really surprised. I think it's going to get great ratings, actually.
Grew fed up with the endless excuses offered by Secretary Treasury Scott Bessent, as he performed next-level verbal gymnastics to try to defend Trump's tariffs. And Bartiromo took issue with the sheer volume of shite that has been offered as a means to excuse the downturn in the market with people's 401ks dwindling, all as a means to try to convey the idea that Trump has a plan. First, it was an approach on trade, and then it was a way to combat fentanyl, and then on the latest spin, currency manipulation and food testing. Oh, can't forget that. And she wasn't too pleased. And take a listen.
And they have substantial tariffs. And as important as the tariff are some of these non-tariff barriers where they have domestic content production, where they do testing on whether it's our food, our products, that bear no resemblance to safety or anything that we do to their products.
See, these are the things that people are really worried about, because they first thought it was just about trade. Then they thought it was just about fentanyl. Then after that, we talked about, well, maybe it's currency manipulation, and maybe it's now you're talking about food testing. And when I bring up the issue of clarity, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm hearing from corporate America, that we're not sure where this is going. But of course, we will get resolution on April 2nd, rather.
And this happens as Trump and his press secretary continue to try and downplay the plummeting stock market, dwindling 401ks, and widespread uncertainty as somewhat temporary and transitional even. They're going as far to spin it as a positive.
If we could just step back for a second. When President Trump last addressed the BRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tax cuts. He's going there today as he's proposing tax hikes in the form of tariffs. And I'm curious why he's prioritizing that over the tax cuts.
He's actually not implementing tax hikes. Tariffs are a tax hike on foreign countries that, again, have been ripping us off. Tariffs are a tax cut for the American people. And the president is a staunch advocate of tax cuts. As you know, he campaigned on no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security benefits. He is committed to all three of those things, and he expects Congress to pass them later this year.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press.
The Fed saying they can't rule it out. It could actually happen. What can you say to Americans tonight who are concerned about the possibility of a recession, given the fact that you're trying to reorient the economy to a manufacturing economy again?
I think if I didn't get elected, our country would be finished to start off with. And I think now that I did get elected, I think we're going to have the strongest economy in the history of the world. And I had that economy in 4 years, with all the harassment, with all the crazy people after me, with all of the things that went on, even with COVID. I had the strongest economy in the history of our country. I had a stock market that went up 88%. 88%, number one in history. The other markets went up 66%, and I think like 71%.
Will we see a recession in 2025? Are you ruling it out?
We're going to have the strongest economic country in the history of the world, of the planet.
Well, that's if you flick over to the other channels on Fox, in which you'll find Trump's minions claiming that the stock market was overbloated anyway.
And the only problem you have with these tariffs, there's always a scoreboard, and that's going to be the stock market. And people are looking at the stock market like, hey, this is how it's going to continue to be for months and months and months. That's not going to happen. We were probably overbloated with the stock market here for a while. We went up quite a bit. But at the end of the day, it's about fairness. It's about having fair tariffs, everybody on the same page. And again, President Trump has put together a smart group of people that understand a lot about the dollar, a lot about foreign currency, all the things that are going on. At the end of the day, it's all going to work out, and it's going to work out better for the United States of America.
But in reality, it couldn't be further from the truth, as Americans in both blue and red states prepare to take a direct hit from the president's own spite, and are voicing their concern when you look at their response at town halls across the country.
Okay, let's talk about this. So your proposal to solve this is to tax the rich.
Elon Musk gets $40 billion a year in funding from the federal government. What makes you think that has no conflict of interest, that he has no conflict of interest? Do you think he would cut that before he would cut our Medicare or our Social Security or our jobs?
I support Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency.
Like him or not, Elon Musk has brought a lot of really smart people to Doge.
This economy is inflationary right now. We are seeing spikes in home insurance, in car insurance, in utility bills, in food bills, in the cost to buy a new automobile. And you know what the Republicans' response to this is? Their response to this is, well, get ready for a rocky ride. And by the way, we're going to give tax cuts to the top 20% of earners in this country and pay for it by taking away health care from people who need health care. By taking away health care from kids who need it for primary care, from seniors who need it for at-home care, from people struggling with opioid use disorder. This is not going to scrub with the American people, and Republicans are responding by avoiding town halls so they don't have to take the tough questions.
Which is actually represented in the polls. If you take a look, Trump's favorability, especially in his handling of the economy, is at an all-time low.
Yeah, Kristen, and you get to it. Let's just start with Trump himself, that 47% job approval rating. Two ways of looking at this. First of all, if you compare Trump to every recent president, this point after coming into office, Trump's number here is the lowest, significantly the lowest of any of his modern predecessors, except Donald Trump in his first term. He was at 40% at this point in 2017.
He is deep underwater, and when Bartiromo isn't throwing you a life raft, it's tough going.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.